Well, top of the morning to you, Raider Nation. It is the Raider D out here on the Raider Ranch, and you are watching the Raider D podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a breakout player from 2023 who has the possibility of really breaking out this year with the cast of characters that we have, the head coach that we have, the defensive coordinator with Patrick Graham, on and on and on. And yes, of course, I am talking about one of my favorite players on the Raiders squad right now. That is Malcolm Koonce, the Robin to the Batman, Batman to the Robin. Malcolm Koonce and Max Crosby in 2024 were supposed to be the nightmare duo defensive ends in the NFL. And unfortunately, Malcolm Koonce blew out his knee with an ACL tear in a practice. And to make things worse, it was literally at the end of practice during walkthroughs. So how that happened, we still don't know the exact details of it, but I'm thinking maybe there was a cartwheel or a backflip or something. I don't know how you end up doing that, but it was an extremely unfortunate thing. However, he was on the Rush podcast just recently, and according to some insider reports, there is really good news to report about Malcolm Koonce. We're going to get into all that and more on today's episode of the Raider D podcast. Guys, it is a brisk, cool 36 degrees out here on the Raider Ranch, and that's what I do because the wifey is inside sleeping and I don't want to bother her. So I just come out here and I freeze my butt off for you. So do me a favor and smash that like button, and if you hadn't hit the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do that too, as it doesn't cost you a dime. And if we're going to talk about some money, why don't you consider becoming a member? Because as a member, you're supporting the Raider D podcast and the Raider Nation. You're showing your love to the Raiders by supporting Raiders creators like myself and others. And we got some really cool perks. Go and check them out. Hit that join button as well. Let's talk about Malcolm Koonce this morning. He is by far one of my favorite players on the team. I've said that. And why? Well, if you watch this dude play, he is electrifying. He has incredible bend. He has incredible hand fighting skills. He has speed, motor, everything that you want. And as a third-round pick, he really didn't even cost the Raiders that much for the production that he put out in 2023. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I had been saying it, when is Malcolm Koonce going to get his shot? In 2021, 2022, he hadn't got his shot. I was like, why is this dude on the bench? When you watch him in the preseason, he's absolutely phenomenal. Kind of like Amari Gaynor. I didn't understand why Amari Gaynor wasn't out there on the field after you've seen what he did in the preseason. However, in 2023, when Antonio Pierce took over the Raiders, Malcolm Koonce finally got his shot, and he shined with 8 sacks and a run-stopping grade of over 66 from PFF, which is above average. And so what I had been saying for a couple of years is that this dude is really good, and I don't understand why he's not out on the field. Finally, I got a little bit of validation in my opinion about him because he showed out. But as we all know, he blew out his knee, and so we didn't get to see him last year. However, he was just on the Rush podcast, and he was talking about some things, and we're going to get into that. Also, I got some insider reports on him that I want to share with you guys that is really important. But before we do that, I do got to say thank you to Box House, my dude Kevin Ross over there. They have amazing ADUs and tiny homes. They can deliver them straight to your house. It is an absolutely phenomenal company, and I can attest, Kevin is a phenomenal dude. I bought this 40-foot shipping container from him before we ever became, before he became a sponsor of the channel, and their service, their customer service, their integrity, everything is on par. And so I was like, hey man, you want to become a sponsor of my YouTube channel? And he was like, yeah, what is it? Let's check it out. And so we checked it out, and he was like, dude, I love it. Let's do it. And so yes, Box House, owned by Kevin Ross, my dude over there, is now a sponsor of the channel. He's been a sponsor for, a few weeks now. And you guys got to check him out. Link is down in the description. Phone number is there. Give Kevin a call if you need an ADU. If you're looking into a tiny home, you don't want to go anywhere else, go check out Kevin Ross and Box House. And also, if you need a shipping container, they also have another company called Container Bros, and they can hook you up with that pretty much anywhere here in the West Coast. Also want to say thank you to a brand new sponsor of the channel. We just signed a long-term deal with them, so you're going to be hearing about them for quite a long time, and that is Rooftree.pro. If you're a roofer and you want to get more exposure, you want to get more leads, you want to get more jobs, you need to be on this platform because they are using the most state-of-the-art advanced AI to continually upgrade the platform, give you way more benefits than any of the other players out there like Yelp and Home Advisor, Angie's List. They're all just taking your money and not giving you a lot of value, whereas Rooftree.pro, it was a company that was started by contractors for contractors, and they still operate like that today. So if you're a roofer, you want to get on there. If you do gutters, you want to get on there. If you do exteriors, you want to get on there. If you're a general contractor, you want to get on Rooftree.pro. Link is down in the description. And if you're looking for a pro, go and check them out, Rooftree.pro. Now, Malcolm Koonce was just on the Rush podcast. And, he was talking about this very traumatic part of his career of blowing his ACL and missing the entire 2024 NFL season. And one of the positive things that I took from the Rush podcast and what he said was, while it was hard, especially the first half of the season, and watching his guys out there battling out and feeling like he should be out there, him having to sit out, not by choice, was actually beneficial for him because he was able to see the game from a different point of view, more of like learning from a coach's point of view, right? On the sidelines and watching it, the game tape and stuff, not being a part of it. And so he had to separate himself. And I think that that's only going to make him better because now he'll see things that offenses are doing that maybe when he was engrossed in being a player, he didn't see before. And so I think he'll be able to react even quicker and better. Now, we do have to be cautious in our expectations of Malcolm Koonce this year because anytime a player comes off an ACL injury, they typically do not repeat or come close to the performance that they had prior to the injury. Now, this isn't for all players. Some players come back and they're even better, but for most players, they do struggle to get back into the swing of things. And this is kind of a concern with the Raiders this year as we had Max Crosby injured for the last part of the season last year. We had Christian Wilkins out for most of the season last year. We had Malcolm Koonce out for the entire season last year, and these are our three starters. Right? So hopefully they're all three going to be able to bounce back. Hopefully they're all going to be able to really start to dominate. Now, the insider source that I did want to talk about was before the Raiders were able to sign Malcolm Koonce back to the team, he was being heavily sought after, including teams like the San Francisco 49ers. They were talking to him. They wanted him. They threw deals at him, as well as some other teams. And Malcolm Koonce chose to stay with the Raiders. He wanted to stay with the Raiders. He wanted to stay with his teammates. He has a great kinship and friendship with Malcolm Koonce. He wants to be able to build on this dominant defense and get back into form with the silver and black. So he bleeds silver and black. He wants to stay silver and black, and that's the type of player that we need on this team. So time will tell. If this dude gets over 10 sacks this season, guaranteed. Right now, he's making upwards of $12 million with all of his incentives. If he gets over 10 sacks, and has a PFF grading for run stopping over 66 again, this dude's getting anywhere from $18 to $20 million a year on a long-term deal next year. And I think that this is why the Las Vegas Raiders have not spent all of their money, because that money's going to roll over into next year, and they're going to need that salary cap room to afford guys like Malcolm Koonce. Drop your comments down below. Let me know how you feel about Malcolm Koonce being 100% healthy and getting ready to be back in the Batman and Robin form and being able to get out there and terrorize defenses or offenses as well as Patty Mahomes.